Hello everybody, this is Milesluigi bringing you a special video today. We are actually going to talk all about E3 because this year's E3 was very spectacular. Joining me on this discussion on E3 is...
Oh, and this is Evilpoptart.
With Kiritora.
And Higsby.
I figured we ought to start with basically the smoking gun out of E3. Sony kicked it out of the park, did they not?
Yes, they did. They definitely did.
They did exactly what I wanted them to do. I said, this is their chance to just, take it. So they did exactly what I thought would be perfect for them to do. And they just pretty much said, Xbox One, this is what you're doing wrong, this is what we're doing right, and they won for that reason.
Oh my gosh. Basically, I'm going to go through... That's to start off a really quick summary of E3. Basically, it's, regular stuff, people showing off their games, Xbox showing off their Xbox One, and all the opinions on that. And then Sony shows off their new PS4, and they just constantly just keep basically attacking the Xbox One for things that may not even necessarily be set in stone at this point. There's a video out there showing this is how you share your games.
Well, that was just being a dick move, which is the highlight. But if you had actually sat down and listened to their whole conference, it was gamer. I'm sure there's a count out there somewhere to how many times they said gamer. They said they were repeating gamer over and over. That was kind of like the buzzword of the day.
All right. Well, we go ahead and get a little bit into depth into more of these conferences. Konami was the first one who presented. I did not see the Konami conference, so if there's anything there that was interesting, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to go straight to Microsoft.
I did catch it. It wasn't too bad. Castlevania Lord of Shadow 2 was on there. That's really the only thing I took out of that. I did catch bits and pieces, but it wasn't too much. But very nice demo gameplay intro for Lords of Shadow 2. Looks very interesting. I'll probably be picking it up at some point. I'm actually looking to pick up the first one eventually here soon. And it's Konami, so they kind of saved the MGS for later, obviously, which was the Microsoft conference. Which, that's a whole thing in itself when we get to that. But not too much.
Yeah, actually, that was the very next conference. It was Microsoft's conference, and
it opens with frickin' MGS.
They do start off with MGS. First thing I actually wanted to comment, if you watch that press conference, that entire room is green. It's very, very, very green.
Well, one thing that bugged the crap out of me is they were opening with Metal Gear Solid 5. That's not an exclusive for
No,
the
it's
Xbox
not.
One.
Exactly, yeah.
That was very, very confusing. Plus, Kojima was literally on the stage, and I timed it today, and I looked at it for 10 seconds. 10 to 12 seconds. That's all he was on stage for. That's it.
Wow.
And then, if you watched it after the fact, they had an analyst on there. Do you want to know about roughly what he was paid to do this for? To have 15 seconds on stage and then have the MGS5 open at Microsoft? $50 million is what he estimated.
Wow.
Is what the analyst estimated that he was paid just to come on stage for 12 seconds and promote MGS5.
Wow.
They were paid $50 million. That's how bad Microsoft wanted it.
I've heard that Microsoft's been dropping money all over the place to try and get developers and people and just anything they can to try and, push the Xbox One. I've heard that's their strategy this time around. Spend all the money!
We have money, spend it all.
No.
Oh, of course not, but we'll get more into that. My comment I wanted to make about MGS5 is open world Metal Gear Solid stealth horse. That's the thing I got out of it, because the trailer starts with on a horse. And then you can go in a car. And then there's a lot of fast forward.
Yeah, it
was
was
a fun trailer, though.
Very long cutscenes, not a lot of stuff, and not very interesting. Not a very good way to start a conference, if you ask me. It was very... I can't think of the right word right now, but it was awkward. It seemed awkward, if anybody would notice that.
So there was kind of a really unfortunate event that happened during that conference. I forgot exactly the game they were showing off. They were showing off a fighting game. Well, I think it was to
well, there was two. There was two issues. There was the Killer Instinct, and then there was the Battlefield 4. Oops. Well, as the event went on, they were showing their games. Well, before we get to that, there was the Minecraft release, which was kind of like, hey, look, we're doing research for indie titles. 6 million people have bought Minecraft.
So you can
and
play
they're
it
going to
without
want you
all
to
the
buy it
mods
again.
and all that.
That just struck me as like the worst game to show for indie titles.
Yeah,
Here,
no.
you can play Minecraft after you've played it 3 years on the PC.
Screw that! You've
Yay!
been playing it on the 360. Why are you buying Minecraft twice? Why? No, nobody cares. So back onto the oopsie. Yeah, I would too, especially. But
I'd rather have it for PC. And, it's updated more frequently on PC.
anyway, back to the oopsie. The oopsie that Miles is referring to is first of all, it was a Killer Instinct. There was a rape joke in there, if anybody caught it. And it was definitely a rape
I
joke.
thought it was pretty
It
obvious.
was a subtle rape joke to some, but it blew up Twitter. Yeah.
It made me go, ugh.
Yeah, all the feminists were pretty much blew up, which I can't say I blame them. But anyway, basically there's this guy, there's a guy, and he's got a fight stick, and there was a girl on stage, and then she was fighting, and she was trying to do stuff, and basically made her look like an idiot. And as he was wailing on her with this fight stick, he had basically said, go on, just stand there, it'll be over in a minute, and take it, or something to those effects. I forgot the exact quote. I had it prepared, but I just totally butchered it. But anyway, along the lines, he basically said, just sit there and take it. And it was like, ooh, really? Well...
And then she replied, you have a fight stick.
Yeah. And then, if you watch later, he introduced the cutscene video, she came back and kicked his ass. But obviously, that makes you wonder, was that really scripted? And if that was scripted, oh, wow, that dude's fired.
Yeah, it really was. There's two games I specifically wanted to highlight from Microsoft's conference. Dead Rising 3, just because Dead Rising, to me, even though it's not a game I've really played a whole lot, is always a game... It's a silly zombie game, and Dead Rising 3 doesn't look like a silly zombie game. It looks like a super serious zombie
Everything
game.
that you liked about Dead Rising is not in Dead Rising 3.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just... It's not there. I mean, it might be, but from what we've seen so far... They've taken a more serious approach to it, and it's just, where's the fun in that? It's not there. Okay, so what? You're getting cars now, and you can drive around in cars, and zombies are more realistic, and their heads explode, and blood goes everywhere, and yada, yada, yada.
And you can call artillery on yourself.
Yeah, that's the best part. Hey, why don't we buy our Windows phone so we can call artillery on our Xbox One? Or hey, buy our tablet so we can look up achievements and crap on our Xbox One. No, Microsoft, we're not going to buy all your peripherals and all your crap to do that in. If I wanted to do that, I'd go buy a WiiU.
Okay. Last but not least, they showed a car game called Forza. I apologize if I'm totally mispronouncing it, but the game said it's going to have adaptive AI for single-player play, where basically they have systems that's going to watch how you drive in single-player and multiplayer, and then other people are going to borrow that.
Yeah, that sounds pretty interesting, although, I mean, it's not something I'll probably ever notice, because, I usually don't have a problem racing against the computer anyway, but I guess it's kind of a neat thing.
Well, see...
It's a neat idea, but... Oh, you first, Evilpoptart.
Here's the thing. With the always online DRM connection, and when it checks in, eventually those profiles take over the default AI. It basically, if you watch the conference on it, he explained it afterwards, and it was totally fleshed out, is that when it checks in, it looks at your friends list. And then anybody that's played the game, it downloads their personas, quote unquote, is what he called it, I think. It downloads their persona profile and replaces the AI drivers. And I don't like it. It seems neat, but no, because that's just going to replace the whole AI drivers. And it will keep that. It's a cached file. If it doesn't connect to the internet, that's going to be your AI driver because it's cached. And it always goes out and always looks at these driver profiles. Why? What the hell's the purpose? So if I want to just be a total dick, can I just be driving into the cars all the time and I'll be the dick driver? That sounds like me. I get a little rough sometimes. Something pisses me off. The car cuts me off going around a turn or something. And then you step on, all right, you bastard, I'm going to catch up to you. And you go in it and you go, all right, I'm sick of your ass following me this close. You decide to get a little dirty.
What if all the people on your friends list are, super good at the game and, you're just kind of getting into it and you're, never able to win anything? Because everyone's so good.
Yeah, and you get all pissed off at it, and you just wreck them. What fun is that?
And there's the entire other point of view where people are going to make
That'd be
trolling
really
personas where
funny.
they literally crash into walls or do stupid stuff. It is. Last thing I wanted to cover on the Xbox conference, specifically from my point of view, they did not address the ongoing concerns, specifically, about DRM and used games and stuff like that. That I really felt was a real missing point out of their conference. And the price point, $499 US.
To pick up where that is, there was a huge elephant in the back of the room. It was standing in a corner. You couldn't fucking miss it. Everybody else decided to see it. Why Microsoft decided to ignore that? Blatantly ignore that, need I remind you. Ignoring that elephant in the corner just was not the way to go. They talked nothing about it. I like the parody that came out. It's like, use your games, fuck off now. From the British guy that I can't think of the name right now, but they needed to address the elephant in the room. And the fact that they didn't do that.
I don't know if it's that. I think it's because they know that everyone would have just booed and thrown things at them, because obviously there's no good news to come out of that. I think that what we know right now is pretty much what they would have said, and it wouldn't have been very good, and they didn't want that to be in their press conference. So, yeah.
They already told us. They already told us, and we wanted more clarification, considering after the whole freaking train wreck of the first bombshell they dropped on us, they didn't have any clarification. All we were looking for, at least the press was, at least anybody, we were looking for at least some clarification. They didn't even give us that. They didn't even acknowledge that. They were just like, games. Okay, the games are fine, but you gotta still hit on these points, people. We still had questions. We still have questions. And there's still convoluted answers coming out of Microsoft because they're backpedaling. I don't agree with that. I wanted them to at least somewhat address the elephant in the room, and they just totally ignored the crap out of it. That's not what you do.
Yep. And they announced the price at $499 US. Do you know what that's going to end up costing you in Canada, Higsby?
Actually, lately, prices up here have been pretty much exactly the same as in the United States, which is pretty good. But I think back when the last generation started, the consoles here were actually a bit more expensive than they were in the US, but things have actually kind of evened out now, thanks to the dollar being around the same. So, yay!
Yeah,
it's good to hear.
Do you know how much 499 euros is?
Yeah, the European conversion is not right.
Yeah, 499 euros, $665. You tell me who's getting rooked over.
Yeah, they decided not to do math. Oh, let's just round it up. Let's not do math. It'll cost them more. More money for us.
The conversion is horrible. You have UK gamers in an uproar over that $659 conversion rate? Holy Jesus balls, I could put a down payment on a car for that. Hell, I could build a computer for that.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on that, but wow.
Yeah. Euros? I thought euros
as
were
of late.
always
Not as of lately,
worth
no.
more, too, weren't they? So that's probably...
Setting the price point is a mistake at $500, because you figure this in. You figure Xbox Live, which, by the way, we haven't heard if it's still on or off, but we know it is. So I'm just going to include it anyway, because I don't care. So, yes, it was. Well,
yeah, exactly.
Well, everybody's also questioning if the price tag could get chopped in half by $100 if the Kinect wasn't with it. Is a Kinect really worth $100? That's what it is now. If they chop the Kinect off of it, could they drop the price tag $100? You bet your ass they could. But you know what? They've screwed themselves with the architecture. They've written the freaking Kinect into it, and it's going to be a damn hassle to undo that. Because one, you're going to have to spend a shit ton of money to do that. And I don't think Microsoft is willing to do that quite yet. And I'll get into my later points for that later. But no, it's just no way. Well, that also is fairly concerning, considering
No, they want to spy on you.
Here in the States, you've got some governmental issues currently going on, and that's on everybody's mind. And guess who's number one on the list that complied with the United States government? Microsoft.
Yeah.
They were the first to sign that damn whatever bill it was.
That would be Prism, correct?
Oh yes. I've heard that. And there's also the thing with Skype too. They've done tests with Skype, now that it's owned by Microsoft, to see if they're actually snooping on personal conversations. And I forgot who did it, but they posted a website in a personal conversation, and it was accessed by an IP that belonged to Microsoft. So Skype is not private anymore, and you can probably expect everything Microsoft to be monitored.
I really have to drop Windows 8 now. To summarize my point of view, Microsoft didn't address the elephant in the room, as Evilpoptart said. That's brilliantly put. They ran a really safe conference, and they're going to suffer because of it.
They didn't even run a safe conference, in my opinion. They totally were doing damage control. This conference was bad. I mean, first of all, you open with an MGS. It's not a Microsoft exclusive. Why the hell are you even showing it? Why, and other than throwing money at Kojima, that should have been a Sony release. Big time. That should have been all over Sony. And they knew that if it was released on Sony, that everybody, it's an MGS is a Sony title again. No. So, whatever games they had up their sleeves, I saw the new Halo for whatever trailer it was. Okay, we get a Master Chief. I'm pretty bored of Halo. Halo is Halo. Halo 4 even really wasn't that good.
Not only that, it's not Bungie anymore.
343 Studios is okay with it, but there was a better title out there. And it's the new, I'm totally spacing out, I don't have my notes in front of me, but there was basically Activision and Bungie working on their own Sony title. And that is basically Halo and COD pretty much wrapped into one. And it wasn't Destiny, I don't think it was Destiny. But
all right. Let's go ahead and move on now. After Microsoft's Xbone, sorry, I had to make that joke.
Xbone, yeah, I saw that.
I've seen everyone saying that.
Mm-hmm. Ubisoft had their little conference. I didn't actually watch that one, but I did watch the trailer for Rayman Legends because I think that game looks really neat, and I have a soft spot in my heart for Rayman.
The game that was supposed to be out almost a year ago, you say? Or half a year ago?
Well, let's backpedal for 1 second because the EA conference was first.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I think it was.
Well, I might have got my order out of the way, but EA would be next otherwise. So if there's anything you want to say about Ubisoft, I'll say it now.
Well, since we're doing Ubisoft, they'll do Ubisoft. Ubisoft had an excellent presentation. I forgot her name, but I loved her on stage. She was a giant because she was wearing 1-inch heels, but that's why they kept making the joke about it. The Rayman Legends was looking good. That was EA's. I'll get to that. What else did Ubisoft release? Ubisoft they did the Assassin's Creed a little bit. They kind of touched into that, but not as much as Sony did. Sony kind of did the reveal on that. Ubisoft's good. They had awesome titles. The new car game by Ubisoft. It wasn't The Crew. It was the other one. It wasn't The Crew. Anyway, the new racing game, co-op game. That looked pretty cool. Overall, they had an excellent presentation. I liked Ubisoft's presentation. It was light, but presentable.
Excellent. Let's go ahead and move on to EA. And EA showed a whole lot of games, and honestly,
they didn't show
made
shit.
me want to punch myself in the face.
They didn't show shit.
It made me want to.
They showed sports games. Let's get that correct. They showed sports games.
Shit.
Well,
they spent a good portion of their entire conference on sports games.
Oh my god!
Well, do you know what they opened with?
Who cares?
What did they open with? Evilpoptart?
They opened with a Plants vs. Zombies co-op shooter, pretty much. Think of Left 4 Dead, but Plants vs. Zombies. It's a wave game where you're fighting waves. If anybody's familiar with Killing Floor, Killing Floor is basically Killing Floor with Plants vs. Zombies. It looks kind of fun. I wasn't too sure on it, but I don't know. We'll have to see how that.
It doesn't seem like something that should have been opening, though.
Yeah, opening with that. Oh hell no! And then the jump. And then after they announced that, he goes, "Oh, by the way, Peggle 2, yeah, Falcon Punch jump," and then walks off stage. What? The hell was that?
That was so weird.
What the hell was that? You Falcon Punch for Peggle 2 and walk off the stage.
Peggle was fun, but it gets old quickly.
That's not how you introduce a game. You just got off the heels of Plants vs. Zombie, and then your last sentence you go, "Oh, by the way, Peggle 2, jump!" And then you walk off stage. What? And then they started getting into all the sports games, and holy crap, there's another 5 to 6 ISP sports games. Whoop-de-friggin' do.
The one thing that actually did kind of interest me in EA's was Mirror's Edge 2. It was kind of cool.
I have more info on that.
You guys played the first one?
No.
Yes, I have more info on that today. I was hoping you were going to bring that up. And that's what they ended with. EA ended with the rumor of their Mirror's Edge. However, it is not Mirror's Edge 2. It is a Mirror's Edge prequel.
Really?
Yes, it is not 2. They made that clarification today on Twitter, and I did look it up. It is not Mirror's Edge 2. It does not take place after Mirror's Edge. This is the precursor to Mirror's Edge. This is a prequel, sadly. That's why you saw Fate getting her tattoos right away. And that's when she starts and going through all this crap. So I don't know. They introduced her as a new runner in Mirror's Edge 1, so how this is going to fit into a prequel, you got me baffled because I really don't friggin' know.
Amnesia.
Yeah, it's basically
We'll
like
have to
they
wait and
just
see.
forgot Mirror's Edge, the first one, and just decided to rewrite it. Well, they don't. To me, it sounds like they just rewrote the damn thing, which is stupid. But
Alright. One last thing I wanted to get out of the EA conference was Battlefield 4, which I honestly have to say, it feels like just yesterday that Battlefield 3 came out, so it honestly kind of surprises me,
It
to tell you the
does.
truth.
It does.
apparently, Captain's Mode's where it's at. Apparently, Captain Mode is where it's at, and I have to use a damn tablet for that. Well, maybe, but I mean, it looked really nice. The building crashing down from the tanks was kind of cool when they jumped out of it. A lot of action, a lot of good things, but you're not going to have that coordination in a multiplayer game. You're going to have people flying around freaking helicopters and freaking jets crashing them into buildings. No. Just no.
Noob.
Okay, so EA, are they pretty much all Xbone stuff?
At this point, most likely. After Sony's announcement, they got rid of online passes. Online passes are gone. So unless they're going to bring them back for Sony, I don't think. I have no idea how EA is going to handle Sony titles. I really don't.
The two evilest companies
I don't know. I've heard that EA partnered up with Microsoft. That's what I heard.
They did. This was a wholehearted
partnership.
partnership.
That's why I'm assuming that all these EA games are going to be Microsoft.
Well, Battlefield 4 is going to be releasing for the PS4, so don't know how they're going to do that without an online pass. No freaking clue.
Yeah.
All right, to switch to our next gear, the Sony Conference and the PlayStation 4. I'll admit I only caught the very end of it, but a lot happened in that conference.
Well, the thing is, the beginning of the conference was not super exciting, but I understood that. As soon as I saw, they started the conference off with the PlayStation Vita, and then a few things for the PS3, they were obviously just getting that out of the way before they went all out with the PlayStation 4, and that was really cool.
I'm glad they did.
All the stuff they talked about the PlayStation 4. Yeah,
they had
exactly.
They had a nice opening for the PS3. They gently jumped into it, and then gently jumped into the Vita. It was nice. They said, "Hey, we're still going to be making games for PS3 here, so it's not quite done yet."
Mm-hmm.
The bundle packages with Grand Theft Auto 5, that was amazing.
That is cool.
And especially they're giving a headset away with it now, so that's pretty cool. I was looking at all the bundles today for the PS4 and Xbone, but the PS4 bundles look amazing. You know, you got Assassin's Creed, the new Assassin's Creed on there. You got Grand Theft Auto 5. You got I think there was no Kingdom Hearts one. There's a Final Fantasy one. I'd have to look it up on GameStop or Amazon.
Wait, my brother said there was a Kingdom Hearts.
There is a Kingdom Hearts bundle?
Oh, I didn't know that. Although all this discussion
maybe
of
there
bundles...
isn't. I don't know. I can't rely on what my brother says.
That's true.
There will be a Kingdom Hearts 3, but sadly, just released today, Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3 are not Sony exclusives.
I'm not surprised about Final Fantasy, considering since, Xbox 360, Final Fantasy's been on that as well. Yes. But I'm actually really surprised about Kingdom Hearts.
So am I, because the previous two games on it are Sony exclusives. So how are you going to jump in that on the Xbox One and understand the freaking storyline, considering Kingdom Hearts storyline is like fucking...
Well, I think all the people who are a really big fan of the series had a PlayStation 3 anyway, and they'll be getting a PlayStation 4. So I don't think it will be too much of an issue.
Kill me now, but I couldn't get into the first Kingdom Hearts. I desperately tried, so I just no.
Right. It's good. I mean, I've played it, but it works.
Also, one thing that we didn't discuss, I just kind of want to bring it up really quickly, I don't want to spend too much time on it, is the fact that they're actually releasing, I think it's out right now apparently, a new version of the Xbox 360, which is kind of funny.
Yeah,
that looks almost like the Xbox One.
Yeah, that looks like the Xbox One. I don't think they learned their lesson from Nintendo. And I don't think anybody's going to freaking buy it. Because who cares? Nobody's going to buy it.
Yeah.
At this point, the only thing that people are going to buy are used Xboxes. They're not going to want to buy a new one.
I don't even have a single Xbox 360 yet, and I still don't have any intentions on getting one.
But I didn't pay for them. They were given to me, and I fixed them up. Well, actually, 2 of them, they've got bad readers, but I'll probably sell them now.
So, probably one of the bigger points, Sony flat out said in their press conference, your PS4 doesn't have to be online 24/7. You can switch around and trade around your CD-based games. They flat out said it in their conference.
That was the part I was waiting for the entire time, just to get out there. And if they wanted to make their mark, do exactly that. Just say, here's all the bad things that the Xbox One is doing. We're not doing any of that. And that is exactly what they did. And that is why they won over everyone. And that is why I think they deserve everyone's money. Because they're not doing any of that stupid crap that only hurts the consumer and does not benefit them in any way. So good for Sony.
Now, to base off of that, there was clarification today. There was the actual interview with the head of Sony that Spike TV did. And there was clarification on how they will handle used games and stuff. Granted, they said a couple months ago that they are putting it in the hands of the publishers. Third-party games. First-party games, they're not doing any of that. Third-party games, they are allowing publishers to somehow implement, they're always online or whatnot be. And they're giving them to figure that out. But everybody's getting misconstrued here. It's basically staying the same the way it is now on the 360 and PS3. Nothing will change unless the only thing that will change is the multiplayer, and that's it. It's basically how it is right now. So everybody's freaking out over this. Oh, it's no different than Xbox One. They're still putting DRM on it. No, they're not. It is the same the way it is now, and they're still telling the publishers to do that, which is putting them in a tight spot because Sony is not enforcing that. So that brings up this question. If you're a developer, do you piss off everybody, go to Xbox One and require that, and then just get your full cut out of that? Or do you just see this huge backlash and go, whoa, I got to step back from this, and we got to go over to Sony this way, or do both? So it's really a no-win situation for either of them due to those facts. It's a very tough decision.
You'll probably be seeing EA do that kind of thing. That's probably the only way EA would make games for PS4.
Probably.
Is if, they said that. And I don't know, I wonder if they would start doing it on, Call of Duties and, the really big titles like that. But overall, a lot of the smaller titles, RPGs and things like that, more of the niche things, I don't think will be affected by that. So, years down the road, and you say, oh, I kind of wanted to try out that game. You'll hopefully still be able to go and find it at the flea market or something like that.
What I'm
but not on the Xbox One.
What I'm curious is the PS4 has a release of a, I don't remember how much it is, but they have a release of a sports pack. It's 3 sports games in one. And it's oh no, that's for the Xbox One. Scratch that. Never mind. I just looked it up. But it brings up a good point. How is EA going to release titles on Sony? That's the point.
Yeah. Another good point, and this was a minor footnote, is that on the PS4, it appears you do need a PS1 membership to play online, and it almost seems similar to Xbox Live to me.
Except that PlayStation Plus is way better. So overall, tons of people already have PlayStation Plus, and tons of people aren't even going to mind because getting PlayStation Plus almost pays for itself with all the free games you get. So, the fact that they didn't add an extra fee on top of PlayStation Plus, I think everyone's going to be just fine with that. Once they get PlayStation Plus, they'll realize how good it is, all the free games, all the deals, and everyone will be happy. Plus, you're not forced to pay it for anything. I think you can still use, Netflix and all that. Well, on 360, unless you have gold, you can't do half those things. So I don't think that it's going to be that much of an issue. I might buy it, once a year or something like that for a few months, just if I get a game that I want to play with some friends. But overall, this does not affect me.
To clarify that was another thing that was clarified today by the CEO of Sony in the interview. Yes, you will need a Plus subscription to play multiplayer games. That's it. Okay, that's fine. I think we're okay with that. That's not too bad. You're still paying $50 or $60, but the difference is you're getting 15 games in a month. If I got my facts straight, you're getting 15 games for free. That's an amazing deal. Over the month, you're going to get all these free games. You are not required to have a Plus membership to do your Netflix, to do your video, to do your music. Nothing like that. The PlayStation Plus is only for the online multiplayer games. Period. You can still watch your Netflix. You can still watch your movies. You can still get your music. All the other services that the PS3 and PS4 have are going to stay the same. The only difference is you just got to pay for multiplayer. And really, that's what Xbox is doing now, except, well, the gold crap with the paywall. But that paywall, I don't think gamers are going to mind to pay.
No, I thought with Xbox Gold, because I don't have a Gold, so I can't watch Netflix.
And that's what's pissed me off.
It's like that right now.
Yeah, and basically what people have been using the PS3 for and the Wii U for has been their Netflix. Why do I have to pay for my internet twice? That's like me paying for Minecraft twice. When I found out that they required a gold edition because I was going to add my Xbox, when I found that out, I was upset. I was extremely upset. I have to pay Microsoft $50 to $60 on top of my Netflix fee that I'm already paying for to watch my Netflix. No. Just no.
Yeah. But the general reaction after that press conference, a lot of excitement on Twitter and everywhere else, comments everywhere. Basically, everyone at that point said, Sony won, Sony won, Sony won.
Well, it was hilarious. The Facebook posts, the comments on websites, it was just so funny.
Let's put it this way. The applause alone from the crowd said everything. Did you even hear anybody give a standing ovation during the Microsoft? All you heard was some of the ghosts sitting in the back doing golf claps. That's all I heard through the Microsoft press conference was small little golf claps. And then you get to the Sony event, and then they announce that, and this is what you hear. Woo! Yeah, woo! You had people cheering. Literally cheering.
That should say something to the developers.
Yeah. And actually, thank goodness you brought that up. This was a point I didn't have in my notes, so thank goodness I actually remembered it. The PS4 price, $399. $100 less. That's really a killing blow on the Xbone. It really is.
I don't think the Xbox One has one thing kind of above it that PlayStation 4 doesn't have. Lower price, no restrictions. I mean, unless there's like an exclusive game or something, but...
to elaborate on the price points, look at it this way. You're going to spend $499 or $500 plus for the Xbox One. Well, you've got the subscription fee on there. That's $50, $60 you got to add on there. You got to add on another controller on there if you want two controllers.
Yep.
Same. So basically, you're paying roughly around $600 plus with the controller and with the membership fee. Now, we're going to apply that to the same thing with Sony. Now that Sony requires the plus, so you're looking at $399, so $400. So now you got to add on the fee, so that's $50. So that's okay. So you got that. I added on there. You got to add the other controller. I wanted to bring this up, but I haven't seen it confirmed. I don't think this is true, but I heard rumors saying that the PS4 will not come with a controller and you have to buy that separate, which I don't believe. It should come with one controller.
No, they've never done that before.
And I think...
So I highly doubt that.
Yeah, I know. It was a slight rumor just because of the screen. And they're saying, that's another $50 to $60 for another controller. So with the Xbone, you're looking at $600 plus. With Sony, you're still looking at maybe about $400 maybe with another controller and that. But that's not bad. That's $400 versus $600. So...
Okay.
450 versus 650 or 700, yeah.
Something around there. So the night went on. Hopefully everyone got some sleep. Maybe you didn't. Nintendo's, their conference was early in the morning, and technically they did not have a press conference. They had a Nintendo Direct that came out that introduced a whole lot of their new games and what they're doing with Wii U and 3DS.
Let's have our own E3. That's basically how they were like.
They showed some basically new Mario games, the 3D World and the Catsuit Mario.
Mario's now in a catsuit.
That's interesting.
That's all I got from that. I'm like, what? What the shit? Really? Catsuits?
They showed off. Yeah, catsuit. They showed off Mario Kart 8, which to me, I suppose I wanted to see maybe a little bit more out of Mario Kart 8, but seeing as I'm probably
bikes. Half of the carts I saw, they were on bikes. I don't know why they were on bikes instead of carts. Whatever.
That's a funny joke. If you've ever played Mario Kart Wii Online, everyone's on a bike. So guess what? Mario Kart 8, everyone's going to be on a bike.
Yeah. All I ever use is the motorcycle.
I don't know. I'm really bad at motorcycles, which must mean I'm really bad at it. So.
All right. And there's a funny thing regarding Wind Waker HD is that you can put message notes in a bottle, and then other players who are playing the game can pick them up and read them. I can see that being used for so much trolling.
The tingle message in a bottle, I think, was a nice touch because you needed the stupid Game Boy Advance for the original, which nobody really did with the Game Boy Advance version anyway. But I think it's going to work nice with the Wii U tablet. It looks really good. They had a demo of it that I watched today of actual gameplay of how when you're playing the game, the inventory is actually on your screen, and then you can hold, tap, and drag items up to your inventory, and it will automatically switch out. You equip the bow. You can use the joysticks to aim the bow, or you can use just the pad itself to aim. You can do a lot of stuff. And then, of course, you could switch it to just tablet mode, and then you're playing Wind Waker on your tablet, and you can go take a poop in the bathroom while you're playing Wind Waker.
I've never seen the appeal of that. But
oh my gosh.
I still like that. I can play my Wii U when I'm on the toilet. Awesome.
And of course, the big thing to come out of that Nintendo Direct was there is a new Smash Brothers game coming up both on Wii U and 3DS. I'm curious what that's going to end up entailing.
Yay! Yay!
Of course, the announcement of new Smash game, of course, new characters, which includes a villager, and Mega Man.
Crossing.
Yeah,
Mega Man was the exciting one.
You're also
that's the first time we've seen him on the console in like a bajillion years now.
You're also forgetting one.
Oh yes, the Wii Fit trainer.
There you go. The
I
Wii Fit
prefer to forget about that one.
And that one is the bizarre one. It's kind of like, what the fuck were you thinking?
It's a character.
Actually,
it's like Rob the Robot in Brawl.
Yeah,
it's like, what?
No, actually, I think Rob makes a bit more sense than the random Wii Fit trainer lady.
Rob makes a bit more sense, though.
But I'm actually kind of curious to see if it's coming out on both the Wii U and 3DS. Are they going to be able to interplay with each other, or are they going to be like two separate game entities?
From what I know, apparently the stages will be different on both versions, so I would say probably not.
Honestly, I kind of think that Smash Brothers should have just stayed on console. You know, kind of like the main Pokemon games only go on portables. I don't really know how I feel about it being on 3DS. I'm of course going to get the Wii U version, but I hope that the Wii U version isn't lacking some things because they kind of put them into the 3DS version instead. I hope that doesn't happen.
Well, in the 3DS versions, they kind of outlined the characters so you can see them better. So I'm still excited, and I'll probably get both.
Oh, is that what that was? Is that why they looked weird? That's how they're going to look on the 3DS?
Yeah, so they look outlined, so if you have a smaller screen, even if you have the bigger screen, you can still see your character and where everybody else is, so it won't be
that was the transition.
Confusing.
They transitioned from the Wii version to the 3DS and then back to the Wii. That's why they changed.
Yeah, I didn't know that was what that was all about.
Yes.
Huh.
It's really interesting. All right, so we've gone through basically all the press conferences. So why don't we go ahead and just give a big rousing conclusion? My ratings, Microsoft, you failed. Sony, you won. Nintendo, you played it safe and did what you needed to do and kind of stayed out of the way out of the ass whooping.
Honorable mentions for the Nintendo. Don't forget new Donkey Kong.
Oh yes, new Donkey Kong Country.
I forgot about that one.
That's probably my favorite game they actually showed.
I think we're forgetting another thing. It looks like a sequel to A Link to the Past.
Did they show that? I kind of skimmed through it since I didn't get to watch it live.
Technically, I think they did, because I saw a video of it, and it said Nintendo Direct, so...
Oh.
Yeah, it looks like it's a sequel. I'm not sure, but I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
I think I heard it uses the exact same overworld as Link to the Past, though.
That's what I heard. So
that's bizarre.
I don't know. Maybe it's a sequel. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
Exactly, right? I've been contemplating whether I should replay Link to the Past. Because I don't know if it's going to be a remake with like a few things added into it or not. And I don't want to spoil everything if it comes out, so I don't know what to do. Nintendo, give more information on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So, Miles' rating? Not that good. My rating? Microsoft totally did not address the elephant in the room. They have made corporate greed and obviously practices ahead of gamers, ahead of the whole general consensus and consumers, and obviously, I hope they pay for it dearly. I really, really do.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, that's probably not going to happen, and I know I'm going to get slashed for that, but I hope they learn their lesson from this. I hope they take a big enough hit to reverse their policies and take a real hard look at this. And I'm going to just state that I've stated this before, and I'm going to make it brief again. Vote with your wallet. Do not buy an Xbox One. I'm even going to go as far as a PS4 right now. Wait. Especially if you're interested in an Xbox One, and if you do want to buy it, that's fine. That's your money. You can do whatever the hell you want with it. But I would highly advise against it. Wait. Because you know if people aren't going to buy the piece of crap, that Microsoft is eventually going to be forced their hand and is going to eventually drop the DRM, drop the online requirement, drop something. They're going to be forced to compromise. Right now, they're holding all the cards. They're not going to do anything, at least for a couple months. So wait to buy anything. Just wait. And just when more news comes out, and then make an educated decision on which one you want. Even if you have your heart set on one or the other, doesn't matter. Wait for the freaking results to come out. It's going to work so much better. You're doing yourself a favor. Why would you run out and buy this and say you support this crap? No. Don't support this crap. This is corporate greed BS. Don't support this because then that becomes the standard. And then you screw everybody over it because it says, hey, this is okay now. Let's go do this. Yes, eventually this is going to come. It's going to be an all-digital world for consoles. I'm going to admit that right now. But now is not the time for that. That's in the future. So as far as the conference went,
convincing enough.
As far as the conference went, Microsoft failed. Everybody else did pretty good, minus EA. Sony knocked it out of the park. Excellent.
What I wanted to say is, if that's not convincing enough to kind of tell you not to buy an Xbox One right away, just look at the 360 and all the problems it had when it first came out. The Xbox One is probably like grow legs and arms and murder you in your sleep or something like that. So I definitely do not get it, anywhere near launch because it's probably going to have problems. I think even the original Xbox had like power cords that caught fire and burned down everyone's house.
There has been reports that Microsoft had a little snafu in their hardware. So, I mean, I don't know whether that has anything to do with it.
Oh, yeah. They were using stuff that they weren't supposed to.
Sony might have some issues here, too. I mean, this is all neutral right here. I mean, Microsoft's going to have problems with it. Obviously, that whatever they were using when they did the Battlefield 4 didn't go over so well, but that might have been a technicality. Now, the other thing that concerned me was during the Sony event, Sony had some hiccups, too. We had a noticeable delay when it was loading a couple games. But that's because it was probably reading it off the disk. Or it was in the cloud. Well, they don't have the Gaikai up. But it was reading it off the disk, I would say. And so it was a little bit slower. But that leads to heat problems. I think Sony might run into heat problems. I'm not sure yet. But it's slim. It's compact. It's nice to feel and look at, probably. But I think they might run into heat problems, depending on what happens.
And you're better off waiting for later revisions anyway. Except for Xbox, they always use the cheapest parts available at the time. So, just saying that. I'm just saying that because I've looked at the insides of Xbox 360s, and they change so rapidly because they're trying to use the cheapest parts, and that's why Xboxes break down so much. And it's probably why Microsoft said, there's people buying like 7 Xboxes one after another because they're breaking down. Well, let's see how we can get away with this and that.
I don't totally agree with that. I fixed many Xbox 360s. I've fixed at least 12 so far, and as far as I know, 6 of them are still running. Mainly because when they first came out, it was a design flaw. We had the solder joints were defective, and basically to totally fix those, you needed to reflow the whole board. And then the other issue was heat. They didn't have sufficient cooling in it. You had a crappy-ass fan running on 12 volts running off the back, and people were sticking them in entertainment centers, and you wonder why they got hot and overheated, that you could cook a freaking egg on them. They went through multiple design changes. They added baffles into the back of it, which was the little plastic piece to help knock the airflow down. And they added the extra cooling pipe coming off the CPU block over the GPU to help pull some of that heat off of there. The original Xbox 360s didn't have that. They went through multiple design changes. That's why when we saw the Slim had a 120mm fan, and it had the top cooling slot for it, which you can't still block.
Yeah, I don't have a Slim though. I just have a bunch of those big white ones.
Yeah, I've been fortunate to still have. I have the Modern Warfare 2 Elite Edition, and so far that's held up pretty nice. But I have it on an open table. I have nothing sitting around it. It's freaking black. It collects dust like a magnet. I blow it out about every couple weeks, and I don't let it sit on for hours and hours on end.
Which is what you should be doing.
I don't sit there I don't leave it on for 24 hours. Why? That's stupid. Turn it off.
Some people actually do that.
Well, that's why they overheat. That's why they broke down. Yep. You leave it on 24 hours.
I've played my PS4 for like over 20 hours straight once.
Your PS3?
PS3?
Sorry. Yeah, no, I have a PS4.
You have a PS4? I was like, whoa. Is Canada holding something out on us? What the hell?
You're not supposed to know about that. No, obviously, yeah. So, I mean, I am the kind of person who, I don't do it every day, but sometimes I will play my game console for almost 8 days straight. They put it on pause, go eat lunch, go do other things, and come back, continue off. So, I like to be able to do that, and I don't think that under any circumstance it should be like, oh, it's your fault for having it on for so long. It should be made to stay on, unless it's like a month or something, and that's ridiculous. But
occasionally, I admit, I keep my Wii on overnight because I forget to turn it off, but it's fine. But I also have it in an open space, too.
Who could ever forget about unlocking Mewtwo in Super Smash Bros. Melee by leaving your GameCube on all night? That was fun.
Yep, I did that.
Wow. That's bringing back memories. I had one last question for everyone, do you have summarizing thoughts, Kiritora?
Well, given the fact that I was at work and then I got sick, I didn't really watch it, so I don't know if I can actually form an opinion. But if I were to form an opinion by what was all said, I would agree that Sony did win sorta E3, but I wouldn't jump to anything right now.
Right.
Also, just to add a couple of things, I don't think I really finished up with my summarization. I just wanted to say about the Xbox One, I really don't like the direction they're going, of course, with all the protection and stuff like that. Of course, the Kinect is a big problem. I mean, the fact that you have to have it. And also, it's really funny because, I mean, half the features, the cable stuff and all that, are only going to be available in the US for who knows how long after launch. So anyone who buys it in another region is pretty much paying full price for something that doesn't even do half of what, the functionality that they're kind of advertising for it. So I think that's really silly right there. And overall, I think they're going to have to do a lot in order to, make people actually want to go out and buy it, other than the people who are, just like the Xbox fans who will buy it regardless. Sony, I think that they're on the right track, so it will be interesting to see how they go. And Nintendo, they showed some cool games. Overall, the Wii U looks like it's starting to shape up a little bit, and it will be interesting to see where they go from there.
About time.
That's about it.
To add a little,
although, I mean, the 3DS had a really slow start, too, and now everyone loves that. So.
About time, that, too. To add a little tidbit onto that, the PS4 is not region locked.
Yes, that's good. Very good. I think region locking is one of the stupidest things to ever exist. If someone wants to import something, they're going to be like the really hardcore fans. It's not like everyone's going to do it, so just let them do it. It's not like movies where sometimes, it might not be in theaters for years in another country, so they don't want people buying the DVD so that they don't get the money from the theaters. But video games aren't like that, so I think that region locking is really stupid, and I think that there's no point on it existing.
Okay. Final question for everyone. It's a simple question. When was the last time there was an E3 where it was this big of an ass whooping? I honestly can't think of one.
This is my favorite E3 in a long time. So lately it's just been kind of E3 came and went, but this was a fun E3, I have to say. But yeah, last E3 I can really remember was when Nintendo did the Wii Music, and I laughed all day, but this time I was laughing at Sony's thing when they were just pushed Microsoft to the ground and stepped on them and punched them in the face, and Microsoft's like, please stop, and Sony's like, nope, and they just kind of completely murdered them.
You basically just described one of the characters of Gunpoint when you basically jump on a guard or somebody and you can punch them. You can just keep repeatedly punching them over and over and over, and eventually you get an achievement for it. You get 3 achievements, you just keep punching them, and you keep punching them, and then they go, And then he actually comes up there, please stop punching him. There's no point. He's already dead. And he's like, he's bleeding profusely all over the ground. Why are you still punching him? Yeah, it's a joke.
That's pretty much what Sony did to Microsoft, I feel.
Okay. I hope everyone enjoyed this little special video from Milesluigi and everyone. If big gaming news happens and we decide to run another roundtable, we'll end up doing that. So.
Yeah, and next time I will actually not get sick and watch it. I watched last year's, I don't know.
All right.
Sorry.
Okay, this has been Milesluigi.
And this has been the Evilpoptart.
Kiritora and
Higsby?
All right. Everyone have a good day.
bye.
Vote with your wallet.
Yes.
Evil!